Thank you, President of the Commission. Now the floor goes to Mr. Weber for the EPP.
Brexit debate, I spoke about the young generation in Great Britain. They want to belong to Europe. Again today I want to speak about the young generation. They had a great summer, I have to say. Over 250,000 of youngsters demonstrated their love of Europe this summer. They took the trains with Interrail. They did not fuel mistrust. They made friends with other European youth instead. Journalists from the German weekly Der Spiegel interviewed some of these young people. One of them was a young Brit named James. He said, "Yes, we voted to remain and it feels terrible to be out." For Europe's youth, Europe is the hope for a better future. A young Italian named Matteo was asked, "Which European nationality can you not stand? Which country should not be part of the European Union?" And listened, his answer was, "None, of course." What a stupid question. Dear friends, this is the atmosphere among the young generation in the European Union. They want to shape a common future. And this is precisely the message of Jean-Claude Juncker today in his speech, and the message for all of us. I thank Jean-Claude Juncker for today's speech, and I thank his whole Commission for his perfect work for Europe. Thanks so much. Worauf kommt es jetzt in den nächsten 12 Monaten an?
So what will happen in the next 12 months? The people in Europe don't want to have a split Europe. They want people to try and find solutions for them, and they have to concentrate on what Europe can do better and not just get involved in things for the sake of it. The European way of life, as Jean-Claude mentioned it, is now being questioned. Now we've got to defend the European way of life, and by linking it also to defence and security, as is going to happen over the upcoming year with an exchange of ideas about security and also the defence of our borders. The European way of life for the EPP is at the very core of our thinking. We want to ensure that we actually protect the identity of Europe, our roots in Christianity, and we want Europe to remain as it is. The European way of life is for us something that means solidarity, where the rich will help the poor, and where we will actually not leave Greece and Italy alone to deal with the refugee problem. The European way of life is about economic strength. Yes to the Juncker plan, yes to incitation and motivation for investment, and yes for more support for research and investment. The European way of life is also about the social economy, to have fair and proper tax for all businesses, and from my group we want to say that we absolutely support Juncker with this, and that it's also very important that we now look at the internet businesses and ensure that they provide proper tax responsibilities. Thank you for that. The European way of life is also about growth. Only when we have got proper exports, only when we export, are we going to be able to give hope and jobs to the young generation in the south of Europe. And my group is absolutely convinced that we should say yes to CETA. The European way of life is about sustainability. Debts and the interest of the debts is not something that can be paid by our children. That's not fair. We have to ensure that we stop piling up debts. The European way of life is about honesty. Turkey is an important partner for us. We want friendship with Turkey, but from our point of view, we don't think that a full membership of the European Union will work. For us, the European way of life is about creativity, and I want to thank you for the copyright suggestions I've put forward. Everyone who is creative in Europe, this is the basis of prosperity in Europe. We have to ensure that creativity is also protected in the digital area. And perhaps you might just allow me, when I just go through this entire list of what the European way of life means for us and how we want to defend it from our group, I want to give a final example. In the future, it's very important that we give young people an Interrail ticket as a present from the European Union, so that the young people in the future can also experience Europe on the ground. I think that over the next 12 months, that's what we've got to deal with. And now we've got two very important debates in front of us. We've got a debate in Bratislava and the debate in the European Council. I want to make a call here And that is to ask that we stop fighting amongst ourselves. Let's stop cheap populism. We have to suddenly take now responsibility for what Europe can do. Colleagues, please, I want to give you a concrete example of that. In this particular legislature, the Council of Ministers has voted 148 times. It's 148 legislative decisions that are being taken. France has once abstained and always voted in favour. Czech Republic and Poland has only once voted against one of the decisions inside the Council. Otherwise, they've always voted for it. And my colleagues in Italy has always voted in favour, never abstained and never voted against. So this is my real call to the European Council. Please take responsibility for your decisions. Please explain back at home the decisions you take in Brussels and stop with this cheap populism against Brussels.
Politiker müssen brennen.
Politicians have got to be convinced what's important and stand up for it even when they are confronted with opposition. And so we've got to take some enthusiasm from our ideas. We can learn from the young people in Europe, the interreal generation that I call it. They know the value of this common Europe, and they say to us, allow us to fight for this Europe every day, and please fight with us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we've got to do together.
Thank you very much indeed. On behalf